Today is September 23rd, 2024, and we have a lot of fucking distractions heading our way. Right now, I'm one of the people who have been here for years saying, hey, we have satanic cults running our world right now. Our governments, all the corporations that we refer to as governments and people give their power away to, they're ran by really evil people who do some really bad stuff. And for years, a lot of people thought I was crazy, and the millions of people like me out there saying the same thing. They thought we were crazy. And now they're starting to hear it more and more and more. And now it's so obvious. It's big name rappers that people used to really like. And I'm not going to get into names right now because we all know who's involved. But the point is, you don't want to get distracted by these things. It's okay to see, oh, yep, finally it's coming out. Good. All right, those people weren't crazy. Let me hear what else they're saying and just take everything with a grain of salt. Don't believe a word I say, please. Just research it. Do your due diligence. And now, just in pure deep state fashion, you gotta love these guys. I do love everyone's soul, like I said in many videos. I don't agree with their egos. And what they do now is, hey, all right, well, we got all this news coming out of all these trafficking parties and stuff like that, and it's all coming out, and these people are going to go to jail, and they're going to rat everybody out, and it's all going to crumble. What do? We got to distract them somehow. Well, this is how you know the deep state's getting desperate, by how elaborate their distractions are. We've had 9/11. We've had the Vietnam War way back before. We've had all the wars. World War I, World War II. Those were all distractions. They were sacrificial. They were part of an agenda, but they were also, at the end of the day, distractions. And then now we have September 23rd, where all these big-name celebrities are coming out, and they're going to get arrested. And the public's going to know what happened. So, I think of that meme you see of Dr. Evil, where he says, oh, the people are waking up. Release the Kraken, or release this, or whatever. Now they're saying, Earth is going to have a new fucking moon for 57 days, folks. And it's just insane how desperate they're getting to distract you from what's going on in your life. To say, oh, look, there's a new moon. Go look at that for a while, and while we do this. And so many people are just eating it up. Hey, did you hear about the new moon? Stop. Just stop. I don't want to hear about the new moon. I don't want to hear about any of the moons right now. I want to know what's going on with my world, my community right now. Because as we speak, our community is being invaded. And before anyone says anything about me, you should know by now, I love everybody. I don't agree with all your egos, actually most of your egos, really. But I do love you. I love your soul and who you really are at the core. But because we've all been manipulated so much that most of our egos are just, and I don't want you to agree with my ego either. However, I do a lot of research, and I will say this: our country's being invaded purposefully. We're importing criminals and good people. And it's in the millions, so I'm going to say most of them are good, hardworking people looking for a better life. They believed the American dream just like you and I have. And it was a dream, unfortunately. It wasn't real. Could be, can be. The essence of it is real. But the illusion that we're living daily is not the American dream. We're being robbed on every level and being controlled on every level. Somebody just said in a Facebook post, we need to get raw milk legalized. I looked, I was like, wait, really? That's like, that just sounds like a slave asking for a day off from being a slave. It's like, expect more, hope for more for yourself. Because you are a divine co-creator manifesting this reality. You can call it woman-festing, whatever you want to do. It's not about gender. But you literally are creating this reality around you. And people are worried about legalizing something. What does legalize mean? Legalize means incorporating something into the legal system. The legal system is fraud. It's designed to control slaves. Back in the day, we didn't have the legal systems that we do today. And again, before you misinterpret what I'm saying, I do believe in laws, certain laws, the basic laws. They don't need to be branched out as much in nitpicking on things. There should be a couple of codes that we all live by, and we will again. We used to a long time ago. I remember it. We used to live based on what was in our heart. If you're a good person, you do good for people around you because you know, well, number one, it's just the right thing to do. You know, it feels right to help people. It feels wrong to hurt people. And your consciousness tells you that. So you don't need any law out there to tell you. If I were actually harming somebody or stealing something or doing something wrong, my whole body would react, and I would be like, "Oh, this isn't right." But every day I do as much good as I can, and my body reacts beneficially. And I realize, "Oh, I'm going to do more of this." Not because of what I'm getting out of it, but how I feel from it. And I know what's right for me. Now, in the past, we did the same thing. We listened to our heart, our emotions, our intuition. Today, people are listening to their emotions, and there's a different kind of emotion. You know, emotions aren't just one or the other. There's levels of emotions. And today, our emotions are being manipulated in a way that people are getting riled up over certain things like politics. And they say, "Oh, you got to go to this person or go to that person," and they get emotional and they get mad about it. Those aren't the emotions I'm talking about. The emotions I'm speaking of are what we feel from source in our heart. That true love, that true passion. And now, in the world today with the emotions getting mixed up, there's a cause of that. The cause is manipulation of the mind. When the mind's manipulated, the emotions can get manipulated. If the heart and mind are balanced and you clean your body up, you eat good, you live good, your mind takes care of itself and your intuition, because you're not being bombarded by parasites who are affecting your mind. So if you eat good and take care of yourself and you've lived a basically balanced life, you know, especially if you had a good mother and father or role models, masculine and feminine, you don't really need laws and rules and regulations and definitely not mandates and all these other bullshit we have going on now. So it's a distraction when you hear these big Hollywood stars, politicians, all that stuff. That's a distraction to get you to look away from what's going on right here. Who's in my community? What are they doing? How are they living? Who's making the rules in my community? What do they do at night on Saturday nights when nobody's looking in the basement? Well, if they're doing that in the basement underneath their temples on Saturday nights and Sunday nights, usually Saturday nights, I'm not going to listen to them because I see how they really behave. They're two-faced. They're like Janus, the dual-faced god, or whatever, lowercase g. So, like I just heard about some politician in New York during the pandemic. They were having wild orgies in the basements of some public building that we're probably not allowed in the basement of. They have their rituals down there. There's satanic rituals and orgies. And I'm not saying all orgies are bad and you can't do that. That's not what I'm saying. There's certain people who do it with an intention, and they're looking to control people. And then they go out in their daily life and actually control you and say, "Hey, you know what? You can't visit your dying grandma in the hospital because there's an imaginary bug out there that you might get. Even though you muzzled yourself like a good dog and you took all 7 of our shots, we can't let you in there to see her. Well, you know what we'll do? We'll give her an iPad. We'll hold it against the plastic wall and let you say goodbye that way." You're out of your fucking mind if that's what you believe is the right thing to do. Especially coming from a person like that who's doing those kind of things. We're being manipulated on every level. That being said, those things are distractions to distract from this right here, what I just talked about. You have local politicians right now. Some of them you may play baseball with them. They may hang out at your barbecues, whatever. And they're doing some pretty bad shit that they don't tell you about. Teachers, school teachers, literally school teachers, librarians, nurses, doctors, people that we think are good. And they should be, if the profession itself, you look at it, and the most of them are, but there's some in there that are not good. And this goes back to another thing I was just listening yesterday. If you study actual history, and as I said, this is a disclaimer, I I love everybody, genuinely. I love your soul. I don't agree with your egos. But in no way, shape, or form am I against a whole group of people, any group of people. Unless you're deep state Satanists that are harming people. Then I'm against you. But the good news there is they're every creed, walk of life. They're white, black, brown, green, purple, polka dotted, and man, woman, and then the other 9 or 10, whatever the L genders they give them. And there's only 2 genders, but I'm saying they believe there's more. So those types I'm against. Respectfully, I acknowledge that you're part of this creation with me, but we're not working together. You're opposite of me. So, with all that being said, those people who worship the L, or worship the devil, or worship anything that wants to take away free will from you and me, they typically like to hide in a certain group. And then we get, if you look at real history, that group of people have been kicked out of every country on earth, basically. They, once they accepted the people say, hey, like I would do, hey, I see you guys are struggling, you need help, come on. Just like the people coming to our country right now. I know a lot of them, by first name basis. Shake their hands, talk to them, worked with them, eat with them, hang out with them. I know a lot of them, and they're really fucking good people, just like you and me. Oftentimes better than a lot of us because they're not indoctrinated with all the poison bullshit that we are. So when you meet these people, you say, hey, I want to help you out. Let me, show you what this country's about and give you some tips just in case. Like anyone would do when you're traveling, you see a local, you'd ask for some tour guide info. Now, there is a group of people that is very good at certain things. They're smart. They're an intelligent group of people on the whole. And not every one of them is brilliant, but there's a group of them and a lot of them are smart. So these deep state Elohim worshiping, whatever you want to call them, they want to harm us. They like to hide in that group of people. So wherever this group of people is in, predominantly, a lot of bad shit happens to that place because of these wolves in sheep's clothing. These parasites living within this group of good people. Just like right now, exactly like now, we have a bunch of people coming in our country, and there's a lot of assholes out there that say, oh, we got to get rid of them all of them, they're all bad. And then they'll say, oh, look, Trump said we got to get rid of them all. No, Trump doesn't want to get rid of them all. He wants to get rid of the bad ones, the evil ones. And that's where I'm at. Because right now, Venezuela and a bunch of other countries literally emptied their prisons out, their mental asylums, and sent them over here. Those are the people that got to go. We got to get them out of here. But the 10,000 that came in with them, they were basically the cannon fodder, the vessel that helped them get in. Those are good people that are going to help build our community. We can learn from them and they can learn from us. And it's beautiful. That's what this country's about. So in the near future, a lot of people, once all this Hollywood stuff comes out and we're not distracted by new moons and who knows what else next, fake suns, they got all kinds of shit that they're hiding that they'll roll out eventually. Once we see through it all, you're going to see a group of people, and I'm not using their name purposely, and you'll know, if you know, that group of people is going to get picked on because of the bad apples that are part of their group, the people that hid in that group, the deep state people. So I want you to know that not all of any group is bad, unless it's the actual deep state parasites. They're, that's their own group and that's what they do. But you can't say one race or one religion or one gender is bad. There's a mixture of everything in there. So in the near future, like I said, just like it happened all throughout history, that group has been kicked out of every fucking country they've been in, basically. And recently, in our grandparents' age, back in the 40s, 30s, and 40s, these people were kicked out of a certain country. And was it all their fault? I don't think so. I think it was the bad apples in that group masquerading as them. They're parasitic beings that hide in groups to do bad things. Just like if you see a person right now in the world that's fed GMO poison and they drink in fluoridated tap water with atrazine that makes the male female-ish and just throws their hormones off. And you see that person yelling and screaming at somebody, spitting at the mouth and just yelling. I know you've seen them. I've seen them. We all have seen them. Is that person at their core a bad person? I would say no. I would say help them detox if they choose to, because we have free will. They can yell and spit all they want. But give them an option. If they detox the heavy metals out of their body, if they start eating organic, raw fruit and veggies, if they start eating bee pollen, and spirulina, and kombucha, and spring water, distilled water, they eat real nutrients that benefit their body instead of taking from their body, I'm willing to bet you'll see most of those types of people totally change their attitude. Completely. Like a totally different person. Because they have some parasites, some bad apples in their group, their body. So it's a mirror. It's as above, so below, as within, so without. If you're out of balance, I've been there. I've been out of balance very bad during my surgeries. I was miserable. But I was taking pharmaceutical drugs because my doctors told me to, and I just believed them. I was eating GMO food. I was eating fast feed. I was drinking tap water like it was my job because I was like, ooh, I need more water. I'm going to feel better. And I would just guzzle and guzzle tap water down. No clue. Had no clue it was bad for me. Well, I mean, there's probably 100 other things I could be saying that I was doing. Just the synthetic laundry detergent, Bounce dryer sheets, and I don't care about names of companies, but synthetic dryer sheets that harm you. Tide, again, names, but the synthetic laundry detergent, cologne I was wearing, the synthetic deodorant with aluminum in it, the fluoride toothpaste, the clothing that I wore. I was wearing synthetic clothing all the time. All of that affected me so bad that I wasn't me anymore. I didn't feel like me. I felt like something else. I felt out of balance. And as I cleaned up and cleaned up and cleaned up and cleaned up, I was like, oh, holy shit, here I am. I'm back. It's me again. And that's exactly what's going on with these groups of people. So again, like I said, once the truth comes out about these Hollywood people and these groups, you're going to see a certain group of people being picked out. And then they're going to come up with, oh, you're mad against this group of people, you're racist or anti-whatever. And the truth of the matter is, no, you're not. You're against that out-of-balance parasitic infestation that's masquerading as those people. At least that's what I feel. I'm against the parasites who are trying to affect something good, God's creation, and alter it in a way that it can feed off of it. Because God's creation's beautiful. And when it's healthy, when God, the way God created it, parasites can't feed on it. It's just too high of a vibration. It's just too strong for a parasite to feed on. So it needs to weaken us so that the parasites can actually have an effect. Once we're weakened and out of balance, and then you get parasites that can actually feed off you a little bit, they keep feeding and they multiply until you're more out of balance, and then more of them feed on you. And this is like in any movie, any story, any allegory you go through history, you'll see a society, beautiful society, built up, amazing structures, amazing literature, their beautiful moral history and their stories, their music, and then they get stagnant. They get bored. The incentive goes away. The need, the drive to fight, I don't mean fight as in a harmful way. I mean, put in that power that you have from your soul, saying, all right, I'm going to figure this out. You know, you got that fight in you. Once that goes away a little bit, it gets too easy. That's when you start splurging on certain things you eat, you do, you watch, you read, you whatever. And when that happens, that's when you weaken your body for parasites to invade. And it happened in this country. United States right now, most people I look at, I mean, we're all working hard, don't get me wrong. Most people are out there trying to work and make ends meet. We have a lot of people that sit on government supply, on our tax dollars. We pay for them to sit around, or they're sitting on the highway off-ramps and shit for trying to beg for money. Yeah, those people aren't working hard, but the majority of people are working hard. My family works, we work ourselves damn near to death. I've broken my back at work, working so hard, multiple times. I've ripped screws out of my back and then went back to work. My dad, my brother, my family, all of us, we've all done things that hurt our body, but we're so dedicated to help the family and make it in this world that we're willing to sacrifice. And which isn't a good thing, I would say. It's not good to sacrifice your health. There's a limit. Put that effort in, but stop just shy of actually causing harm to yourself. You know, breaking a bone or whatever it may be, or ripping your screws out of your back or whatever. So, like I said, most people are working hard. However, the people that aren't, the people that have it too easily, they're out of balance. And as that happens, it spreads. The whole society gets out of balance eventually, because those people had too much money and they said, all right, let's try the next thing. Let's put some poison in the food. Okay, let's put some poison in the water. You know what? Let's spray the sky, see if we can get away with it. It's like a drug to them, I think. I think they get off on thinking about how far they can maneuver us and manipulate. And when you hear all these things about these rappers and movie stars in Hollywood, I feel it's the same thing. It goes back to that saying, hard times make hard men and women. They say men, but men and women, it means both in my mind. Hard times make strong men and women. Strong men and women make easy times. Easy times make weak men and women. And we're living in an easy time at the moment. I'm actually in a parking lot of a grocery store. I'm literally going to walk in and hand them some fake paper that some Federal Reserve printed, a cartel, banking cartel. I'm going to hand them the paper and get a bunch of food. I don't know if you ever grown your own food, or you farmed, or even just simple garden. It takes work, it takes effort, especially if you're doing it to feed your whole family. By no means am I growing enough right now that I could feed everybody in my family. But I've done enough to know how difficult it is to supplement our diet. So we got it pretty fucking easy. I drove an expensive big truck to the grocery store today to get groceries, and I'm gonna go take it back to my air-conditioned house, and where I have internet, TV. Well, I don't have a TV, but I have internet if I need it. I have a lot of things I need. Running water, yes, it's poisoned water, the tap water, but I filter it. So we have it pretty easy in terms of people aren't afraid of things. People aren't intimidated by a lot of things in the world around them. They got too lazy and they just let other people do it for them. Okay, yeah, you know what? Poison the water, I'll be okay. This article said it's fine. And that's the problem. We don't have that urgency, that drive, that fight within us. We have it within us, but we're not accessing it because it's been too easy. So what's happening? We attract lessons to make it more difficult. Importing a bunch of criminals from Venezuela and everywhere else from the prisons, along with the good people. And then those hard people come here, those rough people come here, and they start eating your animals, killing people, raping and murdering. And then that creates hard times. And then those people wake up and say, ooh, okay, I got to do better. And I was getting into it with movies, but I mean, you see it in basically any story out there. And if you don't know it, you'll know after I say this. But I mean, look at like the Lord of the Ring books, the Hobbit books, or movies. I mean, you can name any of them. The society gets big, gets fancy, everything's good, and then all of a sudden, the bad guys in the background, the deep state, tinker and to fuck everything up. And once things get bad, all those people say, oh, woe is me. Why is it falling apart? Why me? Why me? Because you weren't paying attention. And that's what we live in today. People stop paying attention. And then when people like me were out there yelling at you, yelling at the top of the mountains, doing ads, literally people putting billboards out there and flying planes with signs on them and putting YouTube channels out there and all this stuff people do. And then we literally ignore the truth because it's scary or it's hard or difficult. Well, because you've ignored that, the louder lessons are here. You're going to see the deep underbelly of our society. You're going to see the scary parts that people don't want you to see. And when you see that, you're gonna say, "Whoa, why is me? Why our world? How could that happen?" Every day somebody tells me, "Man, I don't think they can do. How would they do that? Why would they do that? That's crazy." I just look. I'm like, why wouldn't they? Why? What do you mean? Look around. Not enough people build puzzles. That just hit my mind. Not enough people build puzzles. I've always loved building puzzles since I was a little kid. I still build them to this day. And we do it in life, especially if you're researching, if you're what people call there's a lot of names for them, but digital soldiers, anons, truthers, tinfoil hat conspiracy theories, whatever you want to name somebody who actually digs and looks for stuff. We like building puzzles. And maybe not actual sitting down and building cardboard piece puzzles, but a puzzle nonetheless. You're looking at this information and that information you're putting together. Oop, nope, that doesn't quite fit. How about this one and this one? Then, oop, nope, not that one. And you move it around some more. And then you find, then you see the picture and you're like, oh, holy shit, it fits. What else can I find? And that's what it boils down to. And this is a long video, I know, but I feel it's urgent, not fear-mongering, but urgent for people to pay attention right now to what else is going on. Because this right now is the time when they start sliding the new bills in. Oh, hey, yeah, we need to tax your unrealized gains. You may make some money off this, so we want it now. Get the fuck out of here. You're out of your mind. That is not how this works. And if you're voting for that side, if you're voting, giving your power for that side, I would say, how about this? Go to when you're buying a car at a dealership and you buy a base model car or whatever it may be, and they try to charge you for the top of the line vehicle. That's basically what they're doing. They said, well, you might buy that expensive car, so we want the money now, and we'll see if you buy it later after you get the car later on. It's just insane. You cannot charge people on unrealized gains. First off, we got to get rid of the tax system to begin with. The whole fucking system's got to go. It's time for new. We need to go to tariffs, shrink the government by removing the parasites. The government needs a big-ass pill of wormwood. That's what it needs. Because it's literally, that's what's in Revelation, isn't it? In the Bible, where they rewrote the Bible, and they said wormwood in there somewhere. As above, so below. I just realized that. All right, well, I got to go grocery shopping, but we have a lot of distractions. Fake moons up there, second moons, third moons, fucking Pluto, a new planet. They found a new planet with the most water on it or something. It's distraction. Stay in your heart. What's in front of you? What's around you? Stay close to home. Stay close to home. All right, guys, be well. I love you.